Hey y'all, it's your girl Pink Coco, and today I'm gonna show y'all how to achieve this natural glam look, and this is for my dry skinned people. So just stay tuned and sit back and relax. Let's just get straight into it. Okay, so I did her eyebrows off camera, but if you want a detailed eyebrow tutorial, just comment down below or let me know. So right now I'm just tapping in powder foundation on her eyelids. You could use translucent powder or a brown eyeshadow, but I prefer this because it's more lightweight and she has dry skin and I'm not trying to leave her skin flaky. So I'm just tapping the product in and, working it around. It doesn't require much work. And I just did the same on the other side. So with that same brush I used to set her eyelids, I'm going to use to blend out the concealer around her eyebrows and for the middle. And I also used brow gel to set the eyebrows. I then used the NYX matte eyeliner on her lid. You could use other eyeliners, but I prefer this one for a natural look. So I just dragged it across her eyes, and while I'm doing it, I'm pulling at the top of her eyebrow or the corner so that the process is much more easier. I'll do another detailed tutorial on eyeliner because it's not as easy as it looks and it takes a while to master it. But the thing about doing eyeliner is you can always fill in or go back and fix your mistakes using concealer, and that's what I usually do as well. So I'm just filling in and making sure both liners look equal on both eyes. So I then used the eyelash glue close to her eyelash line. You don't want to place it directly on the eyelashes because sometimes the eyelashes can fall out when you're trying to take off the makeup. So I placed my 25mm eyelashes on the eye, and while it's drying down, I let the client hold down the eyelash so that it feels more natural to them and like they can get adjusted to it. So I then used the Becca illuminating primer to give her some glow. Then I sprayed her skin with rose water to keep her skin hydrated. So the foundation I used on her was CoverGirl Queen Collection in the shade 550. And I just use the foundation brush and I tap it into her skin. I don't use much foundation because you don't want too much to pile up because then you're using concealer and then contouring and baking. It's just too much. So you just use a little because little goes a long way. So I used the NYX concealer in the shade Cocoa, and I just put it underneath her eyes, her nose, her forehead, her cupid's bow, or her chin. And you want to start with a shade 1 or 2 lighter, and then if you want to add a brighter color, then you can. And for the second concealer, I used another NYX concealer in the shade Deep. So before I blended everything out, I just sprayed her face with another hydrating setting spray. So then I'm going to use my blending brush and I'm going to tap it into her under eye and the areas where I concealed. And while the concealer is setting, you want to tap it in so that it's not creating any harsh lines. And then when you get to the cheekbone area, you want to tap and drag. You can also use a beauty blender if you want, but for a natural look, I kind of prefer the brush instead, but I use both anyways. I use the brush because it creates a more like flawless look. So for contouring, I used the Lancome foundation stick in the shade 555, and I just used it around her chin, her jaw, her cheekbones, and her temples. I then go in with my fluffy brush to, blend it all out around the forehead area. And then when it comes to the cheek area, I go in a C motion to make the cheeks look more defined. And then when I get to the jaw, I drag it out too to give more definition. I then use my beauty blender to blend out the nose area because I feel like it's less harsh when you use the beauty blender. So then after that, I just used the concealer again to highlight the nose, and I blended it out. So then I go back in with the beauty blender and I just blend everything in the skin out, getting rid of the harsh lines, especially around the cheek area and under the eyes as well. Okay, so I used my Mercier translucent powder in the shade medium deep to set her face. I didn't use much. A little goes a long way, especially with dry skin. You just want to press it into the areas where they're needed, like the smile lines and under the eye, to get rid of the bags and everything. When it gets to her T-zone, I make sure I use less product there because those are like flashback prone areas and you don't want the skin to crack there as well or make the skin look cakey. So while we're baking, I'm contouring her with this powder from Ismyrayeraye's palette called Brownie Bite. I'm going to leave everything in the description box below. and I'm just working it into her skin using the C method from earlier, and I'm paying attention to the chin and the jaw area to make her look more defined.
Ready production.
So I'm using my fluffy brush to dust off the excess powder, but then I'm going to press the powder into the skin as well. I use my beauty blender to press the powder in, and I also spray the beauty blender with the dewy spray so that her face is hydrated and it doesn't leave any cakey areas. I'm also using the foundation brush that I used to apply the foundation on from earlier so that everything is just blended out and her skin doesn't look 3 different colors. So for blush, I usually use 2 shades, and the first shade I used was Abby from Juvias Place, and I used that color because it's close to the contour color and it provides more color to her face. And then I top it with the shade Toby to give her some warmth. So I went back in with the contour color and I just did the nose area to make it more defined, and I also used that color to set in the eyebrows. So I'm gonna highlight her face with the loose highlighter on the top of her cheekbone, and this is from Illuminate Life Cosmetics in the shade Super Poppin'. I have a discount code and I'm gonna leave it in the description box below because it is definitely worth every penny. So I just tap it 3 times on the skin and then I just work it around at the eyebrow bone and on the top near the temple. And I just did the same on the other side. Then I applied it on the obvious areas like the bridge of the nose, the forehead, the cupid's bow, you name it, and the chin if you really want to, but yeah. So I went back in with my blush brush just to blend everything out on the cheeks because you don't want a harsh highlighter. And please guys, please just blend your highlighter out. I'm just tired of seeing strokes on the cheek. And I'm just gonna use some of that in her tear ducts because she wanted it and she was mad hyped for no reason, but hey. So then I'm gonna spray the face with the dewy setting spray, and then after that I'm gonna use the matte setting spray so that her face doesn't look too dewy, because sometimes if you sweat, then you just look oily.
James ready
So I used the NK pencil in the shade brown to line her lips, and then I added the Lips by Victoria in the shade Kimberly on top, and trust me, this is a good lip combo. Then after, I just applied clear lip gloss on top. So I applied another layer of highlighter just to be a little more extra. You don't really have to, but if you want to pop out, just do it.
James ready production.
Alright, so this is the final look. I hope y'all love this tutorial and stay tuned for more of these looks, but make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and also follow my makeup page at imamazing.beauty.